All right, good evening. Welcome everyone to the Stockscores Approach to Active Trading webinar. I'm Stockscores.com founder Tyler Ballhorn, and I'm going to do this presentation. This is the last webinar in a long series that we've been doing through the months of April and May. Not that we'll never do webinars again, but I will take a little break after this one, and we'll be just sort of focusing in on teaching some of my new students how I trade the market. So tonight I'm going to show you how I trade the market. I'll talk a little bit about my background to begin with. I'll describe what active trading is, what you need to actively trade. I'll explain the concept of strategy trading and how I day and swing trade. I'll actually show you the processes using some different tools that I have. I'll describe how you can learn to actively trade the market. We'll talk about the May class that's coming up. And then at the end of tonight, I'm going to sort of save the best for last and show you some of the trades that I did today. And we'll go through that and just kind of look at the economics of the day. So you can get a sense of how much money do you need to do this, how much capital makes what amount of profit, that sort of thing. So we'll just go through the trades today. Today was, I would say, an average day, not a great day, not a bad day, but we'll go through those. We also have Daniel from Desjardins on with us tonight. He'll talk for a couple minutes on the services that they provide as a brokerage for Canadians. They're the broker that I use, and Daniel will just take 2 minutes to explain that in case some of you want to take advantage of having an account with them. All right, so let's get into the presentation. I really believe that if you do what everyone else does, you will only get average. And I've always been a person who, if somebody tells me the sky is blue, I'll try and see if it figure out a way that it's red or yellow or something like that. You have to really, when you approach the market, take that attitude and look at it thinking outside the box. And if you can't do that, then you're only going to be average. That's the nature of the market. Most people are doing the same thing, and they generally earn what the market earns, which is historically about 8% a year. Now, I have done much better than that, and I think the reason is because I don't do things the way everyone else does. I've been trading for about 25 years. I started doing sort of the normal way of investing by looking at company fundamentals and studying businesses and buying good stories, that sort of thing. That's what I did when I first started trading 25 years ago. I was a student at the University of Calgary, and I wouldn't say that that worked great. I made a little money, but not enough to call myself a stock trader. Eventually, probably 2 or 3 years into my trading career, I started to do things a little differently, and I started to get better at it. I was able to pay my way through university. Came out of school, wanted to work on Wall Street. Nobody would hire me. And so I decided, well, let's try trading the stock market for a living. So I'd lived in a little, tiny little basement suite in downtown Calgary and traded by day, and by night I DJ'd in nightclubs and school dances and that sort of thing. But it was a way for me to learn. I paid my bills with the job that I had at night, and during the day I learned about trading. And eventually I got pretty good at it. Sort of early on in my career, I turned $30,000 into $500,000 in 3 months. And that gave me the capital base to build some of the tools that I'm going to show you today. Also gave me the capital base to have enough money to trade with where I could make a decent living at it. So I've spent, gosh, over the years, probably over $1 million on tools that I will show you tonight. And these tools give me an edge, and they potentially give you an edge as well if you know how to use them. We don't do what other people do with the tools that I have. So I'll be showing you not only the Stockscores website, but also some special indicators that I have for trading software that I use that really helps me to gain an edge over the crowd. If you're going to beat the market, you need an edge. I started teaching people about 15 years ago, and I've been teaching a small number of people every year. I don't make teaching my main focus. I don't want too many people to know about what I do. So I like to teach. It's something I think I'm pretty good at, and I enjoy doing it. But no more than 100 students a year. That's sort of my standard. All right, so let's get into the concept of what is active trading. In my mind, there's 2 types of active trading. One is swing trading, and the other is day trading. So let's explain the difference. Swing trading is longer term trading, but by no means long term. You're holding a stock for anywhere from 2 days to 2 weeks typically, and you're buying it for the volatility that will come over a relatively short time period, just kind of in and out But you're holding overnight. And when you hold overnight, there's actually a greater amount of risk, because anytime you hold overnight, you leave yourself susceptible to a price gap that could occur from one day to the next. If a company closes at $10 one day and they announce after the close that their earnings are terrible, then potentially that stock could open the next day at $8 and never trade between 10 and 8. So there is some added risk with swing trading. However, it's less emotional. You have a little more time to think about it, less time consuming. You can swing trade with half an hour a day, because most of the swing trade opportunities come in the first half an hour, maybe first hour, and you just enter all your positions in the opening hour and then go about your day and maybe check your positions casually from your cell phone or something like that through the day. So more active than what I would call position trading or investing, but certainly not day trading. Now, day trading is much more active. You're in and out of your positions during the day. I would typically trade 3 to 5 stocks a day. On a busy day, I might do 7 or 8. On a slow day, 1 or 2. Today it was probably 3 or 4. But I'm in and out relatively short term. I typically buy all my positions in the opening 2 hours, usually the opening hour and a half, and then I hold them through the day and sell them at the close. That's my typical trading day. That's how I day trade. I used to, and I still sometimes do, day trade the market all day. But you can get 80% of your trades in the first 2 hours. If you sit there all day, yes, you'll get the other 20%, but it's more time and effort. So is it worth the 20%? Well, if I have a day when I'm not doing anything else, then it's worth it, I suppose. But oftentimes I'm busy with other things, so I will not necessarily be nailed to my screen all day long. My approach to trading and to active trading is really focused on abnormal activity. In last night's webinar on investing, I talked about this importance of abnormal activity, and you'll see it when I show you some examples later. But I don't trade the same stocks every day. Every day I have a different list, and my list rarely has the same stocks on it one day to the next. I focus on stocks that are trading abnormally, that are in the news. So my best trade today, NTLS, I've never traded that stock before. I don't think so anyway. I don't remember ever trading it before. But today it came alive with abnormal activity shortly after the open. I bought it. By the end of the day, it was up over 4 times my risk amount. So tomorrow, will I trade that stock? Probably not. It won't fit my criteria anymore. So every day I trade a different list of stocks, some stocks that meet my basic criteria. Now, if you want to actively trade, there's a few things that you need to pull that off. A lot of people want to make a living trading the stock market. Other people want to just complement their existing income with trading. And I think if you want to complement your income, you either day trade part-time or you swing trade. If you want to make a living trading the market, then you're going to be focused more on day trading, probably some swing trades as well. In order to do that, you need a few things. One, you need capital. I mean, the reality is we can't make money unless you have some money to work with. So you can leverage your capital. My broker, when I day trade, will give me 3-to-1 leverage. That means if I have $10,000, I actually have $30,000 of buying power. As long as I'm in and out of my positions before the market closes, they'll give me 3-to-1 buying power. Can everyone hear me okay? I just want to make sure that we've got sound. If someone could just type something in, let me know that you're hearing me all right. Then I'll continue on here in just a moment. All right, so it looks like I'm still coming through loud and clear. One person was saying that they lost me, but no, I guess I'm back for that person as well. All right, let's continue on. So the capital base, yeah, as long as you're holding within just the day, you get 3-to-1 leverage from my broker, Desjardins. If you hold overnight, your leverage drops to 2-to-1, but still you can leverage up your returns. Now that's important because the more buying power you have, the bigger positions you can take and therefore have bigger gains. Imagine if you had $10,000 and you wanted to buy a stock. Let's say you put all your money in one stock. I don't recommend that, but let's just use that for our example. So you put $10,000 into one stock and you don't use leverage and you make 10% on it, you've made $1,000. If you could buy that same stock but with the benefit of leverage, and instead of buying $10,000 worth, you buy double, you buy $20,000 worth, even though you're using the same amount of cash, but because you have leverage, now that 10% profit is a $2,000 profit, but that's $2,000 on your $10,000 of capital. The broker lent you the other half. And so now you've basically doubled your return. You can't leverage in a registered account. So for Canadians, if you're trading in an RRSP or a TFSA account, you're not allowed to leverage in those. Now you get a tax shield, but without the use of leverage, your return may be less. And so I actually have found that I can get a better return without being in a registered account if I can use leverage responsibly. Now I want to stress that leverage has to be used responsibly. If you're not a good risk manager, then you should not use leverage. So, I mean, I'm very disciplined. I don't take big losses. And so I think I'm fine with taking leverage, but not everyone should do that. So make sure you understand how to manage your risk before you ever use leverage. All right, next thing that you need is a broker. You need a broker to facilitate your buy and sell orders. I, as I said, use Desjardins Online Brokerage, and we'll talk a little bit about them and why they're a great broker for Canadians. If you're outside of Canada and you're joining in on the presentation tonight, then you wouldn't be able to use them. But certainly for Canadians, it's a great choice. You'll also need some tools. You need a way to find the stocks that are worth trading. So I will show you the tools that I use tonight. I use Stockscores and some specialized trading software called DD Plus, which I get from my broker. I also use something called TradeStation, which is a third-party software company from the US that I use. Time. The shorter the time frame you trade, the more time you need, oddly enough. So if you're day trading, it's kind of a full-time job. Well, not necessarily a full-time job, but it's much more time sensitive. So when I day trade, I'm at it for 2 to 4 hours a day. I could do it all day, 6.5 hours. There's not a big jump in my income if I go from 3 hours to 6 hours, but I can add a little bit more money that way. Swing trading, as I said, half an hour, hour a day. Position trading, which was the topic of last night's webinar, you're looking at anywhere from 15 minutes a day to 15 minutes a week, depending on what strategies you use. And then finally, you want to have strategies, the strategies themselves. You need to come up with the rules for when to buy, when to sell, how to manage risk, how to manage emotion. Those are all the things that you need to actively trade the market. So I can help you on a lot of those. I can't give you my money, but if you have some capital to work with, then I can show you how to manage that capital well. I can give you some direction on broker. I can provide you with tools. I can't give you time, but I can show you how to use your time, and I can give you my strategies that I've developed over the last 25 years. So let's talk about strategy trading now. That's what I do. I do not trade on hunches or tips. I do not listen to what Wall Street analysts tell me to do. I don't listen to what someone on television or in the newspaper says is a good buy. I simply trade on rules. If the stock does rule A, B, C, D, then I buy. If it then does B, C, F, I sell. I just have these set of rules, relatively short list of rules, typically can write them on the back of a napkin, for when to buy, sell, and manage risk. So I'm a strategy trader. What that means is that it's kind of just trading, playing a numbers game. I don't know if my next trade is going to be profitable. I don't even know the companies that I buy or what they do. I don't really care what they do. All I'm doing is trading off of market activity. And market activity tells you a lot about what people are doing. So when you learn to listen to the market, when you learn how to understand the market's message, you can really start to make money in the market by playing the numbers game. I don't make money on every trade. I probably make money on 60, maybe 70% of my trades, which means I lose on 3 or 4 out of 10. But because my winners outweigh my losers, I make money over time. And it's all just a numbers game. I am very good at managing risk, and I always judge my performance in the market using something called the risk-reward ratio. Now I'll show you this when we look at some charts, but essentially if I risk $1,000 to make $2,000, then I have earned a reward for risk of 2. If I risk $1,000 to make $10,000, then I have earned a reward for risk of 10. If I risk $1,000 and lose $2,000, then I've lost 2 times my risk. And so we want to always think about what our risk-reward ratios are when we are trading. And as I said, when I show you some of the examples at the end of the presentation tonight on trades that I did today, you'll see that I calculate my profitability using reward for risk. I'm going to show you in a moment an equity curve for one of my day trading strategies. The equity curve is about 2 weeks behind. I think I did it the last time I did this presentation a couple weeks ago, but it essentially looks the same today. The strategy that I've been testing since March 9th continues to work nicely, but let me just show you how that curve looks in a moment. First of all, I want to show you some examples of day trades that I have done. And again, this was a couple weeks ago, April 27th, when I did this presentation, put it together. I'll show you some examples from today at the end of the presentation. All right, so this is where we can see reward for risk. So the kind of light blue line on this chart, that is my entry point. So I will just take out my drawing tool here so I can draw some lines on here for you. So right here, that was my entry point. This yellow line represents support. It's how I manage my risk. So the difference between these two is the risk per share on this trade. So in this case, buying at $2.86 with a stop loss point or support price of $2.70 means that I had 16 cents a share in risk. So if you buy 1,000 shares, your risk is $160. If you buy 5,000 shares, your risk is $800. If you buy 10,000 shares, your risk is $1,600. That's how we calculate our position size, by looking at the risk of the trade and dividing that into the risk tolerance. How much are you willing to lose? Are you willing to lose $100 on a trade? Are you willing to lose $500 on a trade? Well, your risk tolerance and the risk of the trade determine your position size. All right, so there's our entry point. Now the stock then marched higher over the next 15 minutes, 10 minutes, and it topped out right here at 4 times risk. All right, so this is 1 time risk, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. So had I sold at this peak right here, I would have earned 4 times my risk. If I had risked $1,000, I would have made a profit of $4,000. If I had risked $100, I would have made a profit of $400. And of course, the only difference is position size. You know, if you wanted to take $200 worth of risk, you would have bought 1,000, maybe 1,200 shares, and you would have made $800 if you had sold at the peak. Now, that wasn't when we sold this trade. I just want to sort of keep it generic at this point. All right, let's go through a few more examples. Here is another entry point here. You'll see a little blue dot on these charts. Those blue dots are how I signal to myself to take a trade, or at least the computer is telling me to look at the stock. And when I show you some examples from today, you'll see those blue dots on there as well. Those blue dots are a proprietary indicator that I created to help me know when to enter the trade. And so I basically build a watch list of stocks that I'm going to trade today. I'll show you that process in a minute. And then I monitor that watch list for blue dots, and I actually get the computer to do most of the work. So when the computer sees a blue dot, it rings a little bell. I then look at the chart and I visually inspect it to make sure it meets my rules. Not every blue dot meets the rules. This one does. Well, the candle right there does. However, this blue dot did not. Okay, so that was a no, this was a yes, this was a yes. And you can see that that stock trended nicely higher, and it ultimately topped out at a reward for risk of about 6.5 to 1. So risking $100 made $650, risked $1,000 made $6,500. Now this is an example of a swing trade. So the first two are day trades. This is a swing trade. Here's a stock that went up over a period of 5 or 6 days. Actually came alive again 2 days ago. I traded it again a couple days ago. But as a swing trade, I don't look for pink or blue dots. I look for pink dots. All right. So when I see a pink dot, I then evaluate the chart pattern, and if it has the right chart pattern, then I will enter that trade. So there was a good pink dot there. This one didn't matter. This one here was a pretty good one. Not great, but pretty good. But these ones didn't matter. And it all comes down to just a visual inspection of the chart, knowing what to look for. And I can teach you those rules in the Active Trader course that I'll describe for you in a minute. All right, so in this case, the pink dot occurred right there at $1.76, support at $1.49. So that meant there was, what is that, 27 cents a share in risk. So you buy 1,000 shares, your risk is $270. And in the course of, as again, 5 or 6 days, right up here, it tops out at about 5.5 times risk. So if you bought 1,000 shares, your risk was $270. You made 5.5 times that. You made a profit of about $1,500 if you got out at the high. We would not have gotten out of the high. We would have exited this trade down here at about 3 to 1. All right, one more example of a swing trade. And this was also a stock that I did as a position trade in my newsletter. Some of you that read my newsletter will remember this one. It's still on my current list of holdings. But there was the pink dot right there. That's the one that mattered. The others didn't really matter, but this one worked quite well, and it moved up from there. Okay, so there's a few examples. Now this is an example of an equity curve. It shows how if I applied my rules as a computer, let's say I'm a computer applying Tyler's trading rules using one of my day trading strategies, something called an intraday pullback play. This is how equity would have grown over time. So this was March 9th when I started my test, and this was the end of April. I've added to my data since the end of April, so this is actually now a little higher. They've all kind of been inching higher. But you can see that this curve is generally sloping up pretty consistently over time. There are periods when you have little drawdowns, a couple bad days perhaps. That's always going to happen in the market. But you also have some periods that are pretty strong where things really work well. And that's how trading is. You don't have every day is not a perfect day. Some days you make more than others. And that's one of the things I think that is a little bit hard to deal with for some people that want to trade the market. It's not like a job where you show up at the office every day and you collect a paycheck at the end of the month that's based on the number of hours you were there. Some days you're trading and you don't get paid anything by the hour. Other days you can make $5,000 an hour. I mean, it's entirely up to what the market wants to give us. We just have to listen and follow our rules in applying them. Okay, anyway, that's an equity curve of my one day trading strategy and how it's performed since March 9th. Using $1,000 risk tolerance, it's sitting at about $150,000 profit at the end of May. It's actually a little higher now, probably about 165. All right, so what is the day trading process? We want to do a couple things when we are day trading. First is to create a watch list of 5 to 20 stocks each day that deserve to be day traded. I have some specific criteria that get stocks on that list. And each morning for the first half an hour, I'm really busy building my watch list. I can't do it the night before. I can't do it in anticipation of the market opening. I have to wait for the market to open and then follow a set of steps to build my watch list. Now we can do that using some real-time trading software, which I'll show you in a moment, and we can do that in real time. We can also do it on Stockscores. It's way easier to do it on Stockscores, but on Stockscores it is delayed. So your watch list will only be made about 30 to 35 minutes after the open. That's okay. You will miss a couple stocks, a couple trades if you're using Stockscores because some trades give their entry signal in the first 20 minutes of the day. And so if you're going to trade the first half an hour, then you need some real-time charting software to help you do that. All right, so then once we have our watch list, we monitor that watch list using a real-time charting program for entry signals. So here's a image of, or the real-time charting program that I use. This is something called DD+. It's provided to me by my broker, Desjardins. I've got here my watch list of stocks that I was watching and trading today. This is an example I'll show you in a minute, but you can see a couple charts on here. This is a daily chart in the lower right, and right here, this is a 2-minute chart. And I pick my entry points. I make my watch list first, and then I monitor my watch list for entry points. And when I see one, I buy it and then hold it till I get a sell signal. I'll come back to this stuff a little later. Let's just now actually talk about how we create the watch list. Most eligible stocks can be found in the first hour of the trading day. The majority of the entry signals come in the first 2 hours of the day, and you have two ways to do the process. You can do it using a delayed system like Stockscores, or you can do it using a real-time system like TradeStation. So I'm going to jump over to Stockscores now and show you that process. I've logged into Stockscores. I'm going to select one of my scans here for day trading. It's called Day Trader. Run that scan, and there is a list in the blink of an eye of the stocks that meet the criteria of my day trading scan. So if I click on one of these, you will see that this stock was trading very abnormally today and made an abnormal price move. And Stockscores found that about 30, 35 minutes after the open. Well, now I'm going to show you the other way, which is more cumbersome, a little more difficult, but it's real time. So what I do with this system, it's called TradeStation, is I run a scan. I pay about $300 a month for this tool. It's, as a day trader, making a business out of day trading, it's my overhead. I pay $300 a month for my storefront where I buy and sell inventory. I run a little scan. I grab all the stocks that meet the first criteria. I copy them. I paste them into another window, and I don't want to ruin what I've got here. And I then have the software calculate some indicators. These are my own indicators. When you subscribe to TradeStation, you do not get these indicators. They're something that I've developed. I give it to my students. So if you are one of my active trader students, I give you those indicators as part of the course fee. But it allows me to put the stocks that are worth trading at the top of the list. So here you can see all the stocks that were trading with statistically significant abnormal volume today, and that's what puts stocks on my list. So here is my best trade of the day, NTLS, and we'll just blow this up a little bit here so you can see all the detail. You can see some blue dots on the chart. What I want everyone to notice, and again, this is a 2-minute chart going back 3 days. So this is today's price action starting at the open at 9:30 Eastern time. This was yesterday and the day before. What caught my attention is the big spike in volume there amongst some other things. I then watched for an entry point. I'm looking for my blue dots. I bought it right at this candle right here. I'll just zoom in on or zoom out on this a little bit. Hold on a sec. So I entered at the blue line, right where my cursor is now, and my position size was based on the difference between the blue and the yellow lines, and then I just wait. I actually didn't even watch the stock through the day. I traded the market for the first 2 hours, and then I went out and ran some errands, sent some of my books off to people that have bought my book, and came back home and found that the stock had gained 4.5 times my risk. So risking $1,000, by the end of the day, that's a $4,500 profit. Risking $100, that's a $450 profit by the end of the day. And we'll come back and look at all the stocks that triggered trades. You can see my full watch list right there. But what I wanted to show you at this point is the process for building the watch list and monitoring the watch list. Now, swing trading a little different because swing trading is a longer term hold. It's less time consuming, and we look for different things. On the day trades, I was looking for little blue dots on those charts. When I'm swing trading, I'm looking for pink dots on the chart. So if I go back to something like TradeStation, I would set this to a different time interval, and I look for pink dots. And you can see there was a pink dot there. That one actually qualified as a swing trade, but wasn't so time sensitive. Also, risk management is different because we're going to hold this one longer. We're going to hold it overnight. So we take a smaller position in that trade. By the end of the day, it was up 1 time risk instead of 4.5 times risk, but it's the same basic process. You run a scan. I give you the settings for the scan if you're my student. I copy all the symbols and I paste them into this different screen over here, and it starts calculating indicators for me. And when there is a stock that meets the criteria of my strategy, it'll put a number in the field here. There's one. So that's actually oil. And you can see at the end of the day, there was a pink dot on oil. Now that doesn't actually qualify. Visually, I look at the chart and I want to inspect the chart for certain things. It doesn't meet all my rules, so I wouldn't buy oil at the end of the day, but that's the process. The computer does most of the work, and I just have to visually inspect the charts to see if they have the right kind of pattern that I'm looking for. And I just went through these 4. I got one more to go here. And I don't like any of those. They all had pink dots on them, but they don't satisfy my visual rules. All right. So that's the process on TradeStation for doing that. It's, again, easier on Stockscores, but it's not real time on Stockscores. So if I jump back to the Stockscores website, go to the market scan. Instead of running the day trader scan, I'm going to run one called Stockscores Simple Swing. Run that report, 98 stocks. I'm going to now inspect those charts, and I'm looking for very specific things in these charts. So I'm going to go through these real quick, and if I see one that meets my rules, and you can see I'm going through these blindingly fast because it's really not rocket science. Take some practice, there's no doubt about that, but with practice you can ultimately get through a lot of stocks very quickly. I would run this process about half an hour after the market opens. And if I see the right thing in the daily chart, and I haven't seen one yet, if I see the right thing, I will stop. This one looks good on the daily. So now we're going to jump to a 10-day chart. And this one actually didn't give an entry point early. It came about midday, I would say around noon Eastern time. But it met all my rules at noon Eastern time. Right there, that spike right there, that's a pattern there called an ascending triangle. Met all my rules, entry point at 440, closed the day at almost 490. So it's already up about 10% in a couple hours. A lot of people struggle to get 10% in a whole year, but with some of these trading strategies, you can do that very quickly. Okay, so I can go back to this process here and cycle through some more charts. Let's see if there's any more. I'm not going to go through all 98 of them, but I'll go through a few more. That one is pretty good. So we'll go to a 10-day chart. Oh yeah, I remember looking at this morning. It was decent. The only problem was it was kind of risky. So the risk-reward trade-off wasn't great. This is Silver Standard Resources. It met my rules, but I actually passed on it because I didn't like the risk nature of it. All right, so that is the process that I use for swing trading. Now, how do you learn how to do this? I taught myself. It took me about 8 years before I was successful, paid a lot of expensive lessons, and spent countless hours. I've now spent 25 years doing this, and I share my knowledge with people that buy my courses. As I said, I teach about 100 people a year. It's something that I enjoy doing. It adds some income to my trading income, and at the end of the day, I get to help 100 people a year do something that I really love to do, which is trade the stock market. Anyone who purchases my Stockscores trader training courses is going to benefit and learn from my 25 years of experience. You'll notice that I went through those charts really fast. I've got all these processes built. That doesn't come without a lot of time and effort. So I can share that stuff with you. I can teach you what to look for in charts. I can teach you the processes to evaluate stocks. What you have to bring is the willingness to learn, and you got to put in some time and effort. You know, I could tell you how to ride a bike all day long, but until you actually get on the bicycle and push the pedals around and learn to balance, you're not going to be able to do it. Now, the training has a few stages. You start by reading my introductory book called The Mindless Investor. That then sets you up for the foundation course material, which I'll show you in a minute, and then you go on to my strategies. If you want to learn my day trading strategies, that's the Active Trader course, or my swing trading strategies, Active Trader course. If you want to learn my investing strategies, which is longer term, the stuff that we talked about last night, well, that's when you switch to the investor course. The foundation has 4 components to each lesson. So there's about, I can't remember, somewhere between 12 and 15 lessons in the foundation. They take anywhere from maybe a 10-minute video up to a 30-minute video. So you're looking at probably 3 to 5 hours of work to get through the foundation course material. For each lesson, there is a written component, there is a video, there is an assignment, and a test. For the strategies, a little shorter, probably more like 15 minutes for each strategy. There is a written lesson and a video, and these explain my strategy, rules, and processes. So let's jump back to the Stockscores website, go into education, and just jump down here. Here's the foundation lesson. So if you want to learn how to read chart patterns, you start with the 6 elements of chart patterns. Click on this lesson, read the lesson. Once you've read the lesson, you're ready to watch the video. I can load this onto my cell phone, onto my iPad, onto my computer, whatever. Watch the lesson anywhere you have an internet connection. You can watch that lesson. People are on vacation in Mexico. They can watch it there at the hotel. You can do it from your own home. So I'm going to pause this and go back. Once you've done the written lesson and the video, you're ready to do the assignment. These are a series of questions that I wrote to get you to understand the different concepts of that lesson. You do the assignment, you got to do some work, and then you watch a video which explains the answer to the assignment. So I go through each assignment question. This is a 14-minute video reviewing the answers to your assignment. Once you've done the assignment, you're probably feeling pretty good about your knowledge. Now you can take a multiple choice test to make sure you understand the key concepts of that lesson. So that's all in the foundation area. Now, once you've done all of this, you don't have to do every single one. Some of them are a little more toward day trading. Some are more towards strategy development, which not everyone wants to do. Then you're ready to learn strategies. So tonight we're focusing on active trading. If I want to learn, or if you want to learn my intraday pullback strategy, you read the lesson and you then can watch the video. Just like in the foundation section, there's a video that explains that lesson. I'm going to be adding more strategies. I've got a new one that it's not really new, I've been doing it for a long time, but it's working well again. So I'm going to actually put it on the website probably in June, and it'll be, I'll just upload it. You'll have a new written lesson, a new video, and be able to learn those rules for that strategy. So that's how the Stockscores Education Center works. The foundation course gives you access to the foundation lessons, so all of this stuff in here, and it really teaches you the core skills to prepare you for the implementation of my strategies. It doesn't really teach you how I make money in the market. It teaches you the knowledge you need to know so that you can make money in the market using my strategies. Then you can move up to the investor course. With the investor course, you get access to the foundation, but you also get access to my investor strategies and my investor strategy market scans. Email support from me as long as you are a member of Stockscores. So if you're having trouble understanding a concept, email me. I'll give you an answer typically within the day. I'm sitting in front of my screen all day trading, so I'm pretty quick at replying to people's questions. You also get 6 months access to my tools, which is then renewable at $300 a year. You can actually get this part for free if you are a client of Desjardins. I'll talk about that in a moment. But if you don't want to be a client of Desjardins Online Brokerage, you're going to pay $300 a year to continue to use my tool. The final course option is the Active Trader course. It gives you access to the foundation, plus investor strategies, plus my active trader strategies. So these are the day and swing trading strategies. How I buy and sell stocks intraday or for pretty short-term holds. You're going to get access to all my investor market scans on Stockscores, plus the active trader market scans, email support from me, 6 months access to the tool. And here's one of the real important things that adds a lot of value is you're going to get access to my real-time proprietary indicators for TradeStation. So the things that put the blue dots on those TradeStation charts, the pink dots on those charts, not everyone's going to use TradeStation. You don't need to use it, but it does, I think, make you more money. And if you plan on making trading a serious commitment and something you want to do, maybe not every day, but the days you do it pretty full time, then these indicators are super valuable. And they cost me a lot of money to develop, so the course fee for the active trader course is higher. You can also do mentorship where you can have me coach you one-on-one for 6 months. Same knowledge, you're not getting any different books or anything like that. But the difference is you have me available personally to coach you through the process. We meet typically on a web meeting where I can show you my screen. We can have a discussion on the telephone as well, but I prefer to meet online so I can show you my screen and teach you things that way. This is real good for people that want to do active trading as a career because it speeds up the learning process. Here's the pricing for my courses. Foundation course, $9.95. Investor course, $24.95. If you do the investor, you get the foundation included. Active Trader, $34.95. It includes this, it includes this. Mentorship, $74.95, includes all of these, plus that one-on-one coaching from me. All these prices are in Canadian dollars. If you're in the US, you can take a little bit off because your dollar is stronger. You can upgrade. So if you do the investor course, you want to upgrade to the active trader, you pay the price difference plus $250. So there's a little bit of an upgrade fee. So you would upgrade from investor to active trader for $1,250. Now, if you are a client of Desjardins Online Brokerage, that's the broker that I use. I've had a good partnership with them for many years. And this is really something only open to Canadian residents. But if you are a partner, or pardon me, a client of Desjardins, the prices for my education go down a lot. They subsidize the education by giving you the foundation for free, giving you the investor course for $1,000, saving you 60%, $1,495 savings. Active trader course is $2,000, saving you another $1,495 on that course. So there's a real benefit to having an account with Desjardins Online Brokerage. So what I'm going to do now is bring on Daniel. He is from the Vancouver office of Desjardins. and he's going to talk for just a moment about Desjardins, 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'm going to come back, talk about the May class, and then I'm going to show you what I did today. Daniel, are you with us?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you great. Go ahead.
Thank you, Tyler. So there are four main reasons why you should consider making the switch to Desjardins online brokerage. Number one point, Desjardins is safe. Desjardins is the sixth largest financial institution in Canada. We were recently rated in a Bloomberg Markets report as the second safest bank in the world. To put that in Canadian perspective, TD is mentioned in the article as fifth in North America, but didn't even break the top 20 globally. We know this is important to you with past events like the financial crisis when we saw several large institutions go insolvent. It can help you sleep better knowing that the financial institution you do business with is rated very safe. We're also a member of the CIPF Canadian Investor Protection Fund. Point number two, we're number one in customer satisfaction. We have been awarded number one in customer satisfaction by J.D. Power and Associate in 2014. We have won the number one spot 4 times of the last 5 years. We promise to bring you great customer service and customer experience. We will be there for you from opening and transferring your account to support using our platforms and tools. Point number three, we're reliable and cost-effective service. We were the first discount brokerage in Canada and have been in business for over 30 years. This experience translates to a reliable platform that you can count on. We offer real-time streaming quotes and fast execution. And ThisNet is a direct access brokerage, which means their trades hit the market in 1/10 of a second. Most other bank-owned online brokerages use straight-through processing, which basically equates to you sending an email to their trading desk. Also, most direct access brokerages charge something called ECN fee, which we do not. And active traders can trade for as low as $5, but even if you're
Daniel, are you still there? I think we lost Daniel, or maybe he was done. I don't know. I wasn't quite listening very closely. So I'll wrap it up for Daniel there. I'm going to just remind you that there is a special offer. Anyone that opens an account with Desjardins.
tools like the Stockscores
Oh,
market scanner as
here's
well as
Daniel's back.
Stockscores education.
Sorry,
Hello?
Daniel, I lost you there. We lost you there for a minute, but you can
Oh,
continue on now. Just rewind about 30 seconds.
okay, rewind. So I want to mention that there's 4 points I want to get across. We're number one in customer satisfaction. We have been awarded number one in customer satisfaction by J.D. Power Associate in 2014. We have won the number one spot 4 times of the last 5 years. And we promise to bring you great customer service and customer experience. We'll be there for you from opening and transferring your account to support using our platforms and tools. Point number three. We are reliable and cost-effective service. We were the first discount brokerage in Canada and have been in business for over 30 years. This experience translates to a reliable platform you can count on. We offer real-time streaming quotes and fast execution. And ThisNet is a direct access brokerage, which means your trades hits the market in 1/10 of a second. Most other bank-owned online brokerages use straight-through processing, which basically equates to you sending an email to their trading desk. Also, most direct access brokerages charge something called ECN fee, which we do not. And active traders at Desjardins online brokerage can trade for as low as $5, but even if you're not an active trader, everyone can trade for $9.95 flat fee for equity trades. And we have very competitive margin rates for those who trade with leverage and offer 3-to-1 buying power for experienced traders. And last point, we have powerful tools in education. At Desjardins online brokerage, we know how hard it is to consistently beat the markets and match your accounts, so we're committed to bring you powerful tools. We offer tools like the Stockscores market scanner as well as Stockscores education to our clients at substantial discounts for Stockscores member looking to upgrade their knowledge and take their trading to the next level. So I will encourage you to visit our website, www.thisnet.com, to get more information and sign up for a free demo to try out our trading platforms. And for any other questions, feel free to contact me directly. And also, this marks the end of this virtual tour. I would like to thank all the audience for listening in, and also a big thanks to Money Talks and the audience for tuning in as well. And of course, thank you very much for Tyler for putting up this virtual tour. On behalf of the Desjardins Online Brokerage, thank you very much.
Thank you, Daniel. So we've got a little
slide.
we've got a little slide there just to If you would like to have Daniel send you an email with his contact information, some details of the offer from Desjardins, you can just reply yes to that, and an email will come to you probably tomorrow, and he'll be able to just give you a little more information on that. So I'm going to leave that up for just another moment. And again, I was saying before when Daniel blanked out there, you can also get 3 months of my daily newsletter for anyone that gets the account opening process started by Friday. Now, that's not a lot of time, so you'll need to contact Daniel by Friday if you want to take advantage of that offer. And that also will give you access to my education material at a lower price. All right, so I'm going to take the poll down now. Thank you to everyone that answered that. As soon as I can figure out how to close it here. All right. So there's Daniel's contact information. I'll leave that up for just a moment. This webinar is being recorded, so I'm not going to leave this up for long, but you can always pause the video of tonight's recording if you want Daniel's contact information as well. I'm going to talk just quickly about the upcoming live online trading. I complement from time to time the stuff that you get in the Stockscores Education Center with some online training as well. So Saturday, May 23rd, for 3 hours, I'm going to do a webinar like today. It'll be recorded, and I will basically teach everything in the foundation course, which you could view as videos certainly online, but the nice thing about the session we're going to do on Saturday is I'm going to kind of bring it all together. So when I teach it in person, I can bring all those lessons together and kind of give you the high level how everything works together. So it's a nice complement to the existing material that is in the Stockscores Education Center. So that's the first thing we're going to do on Saturday. And then that week from Tuesday to Friday, we are going to apply the strategies. So if you take the investor course, you're going to get the foundation material on Saturday, but you're also going to get every evening from Tuesday to Friday an hour of market scanning. We're going to go through charts, look at lots of charts, pick out good ones. I'll tell you why they're good. We'll tell you why some of them are not good. And we'll do that for 4 nights. We're starting on Tuesday, not Monday, because Monday is a market holiday. The US markets are closed, so there won't be very much to do with just the Canadian market open. So we're going to do it Tuesday to Friday. And again, if you can't make every night, it's not a big deal because I will record all of these sessions so you can follow up with them afterward. It's nice to be able to attend them live because then you can ask me questions and I can answer them for you live. For those who take the Active Trader course, you're going to be able to watch me trade the market for 2 hours in the morning and then the final hour at the end of the day. So if you've ever wanted to day trade the market or swing trade the market, I'm going to show you what I do with real market conditions. I'm going to buy stocks. I'm going to build my watch list. I'm going to run through all the processes to do all those things. I'll tell you, this stock is good to buy. Here's where you would have support. Everything that you're going to learn in the course, I'm going to put it to work for that 4-day period. So again, Tuesday to Friday, each session will be recorded. I may pause the recording from time to time just so the video doesn't get too long, but for the most part, you're going to get everything that I say that's important through those sessions, and you can see me trade. I'll be putting my real money to work in those trades. Anyone who registers for my class, either the active trader or the investor, before May 15th will get this live training for free. After May 15th, the price goes up to $495. I'm trying to give you an incentive to sign up now because you need some time to go through the foundation material and to review the strategies. You're going to get a lot more out of this if you have a week to go through it. It doesn't take a lot of time, but it is important to do that. Now, if you would like more information on the classes and this, investor or active trader class, just answer yes to this poll, and I will send you an email tonight with a little more details. And again, we've kind of talked about the pricing already, but I'll give you the steps to take to register for the class. Now, if you plan to use the Desjardins discount, but you won't have your account open by Friday, not a big deal. As long as you've contacted Daniel, you've got that process underway, we'll give you the Desjardins discount for any of the education that you want. You just have to let me know that you want some details about the class and I'll email it to you. If you don't want it, just say no and we won't bug you. All right, I'll leave that up for another moment and then I will move along. Now you can start to put in some questions if you have them because we're almost done, but I'm going to show you my my trades for today, active trades for today, in just a moment. I'm going to take this poll down in another 10 seconds. So get your answers in quickly if you want an email from me. If you've already responded to this, you probably already received my email. So I'm only going to send it to you if you haven't asked for it in the past. But if you didn't get an email from me and you asked for one, I recommend sending me an email, because what may have happened is the email I sent you may have ended up in a junk folder or something like that. So if you were looking for something that hasn't arrived, then just email me. I'll have my email address up in a moment. Okay, so let's take down the poll, close this down. All right, so what we're going to do next, I'll just leave my email address up on screen. You can also follow me on Twitter, and I've got a YouTube channel, lots of good stuff there to help you learn. Every week I do a new video on YouTube, and if you go to my YouTube channel, you can see that. What I want to show you now is just my watch list for today and how I traded some of those stocks, and then I can answer some questions for you. And we'll go from there. All right, so let's jump back into this program where I've got my watch list. And I'm going to, because I was day trading today, I'm going to set this to a 2-minute chart. So my day trading watch list is these 8 stocks right here. So the first trade was on a strategy I've been doing where I take my entry in the first half an hour. It's called the, it's actually an old strategy I used to do. I used to call it good morning pullbacks, but it's kind of a confusing name with another strategy. So we decided today we were going to change this strategy name to the early bird. Anyway, I bought it right there at the blue line where my cursor is. It went up pretty quickly, and it actually ended up being a loser by the end of the day. So it lost about 1.3 times risk. The next one was OHGI. So let's just keep track of that. So that's a loss of minus 1.3. OHGI entered right here at the blue line. It also didn't work. This one lost about a half an element of risk. So let's round it off to a total loss so far of 2. Okay, that means if I risked $100, I'm down $200. If I risked $500, I'm down $1,000. All right, go through the rest of these here. OKS. So OKS gave an entry signal right where my cursor is on my pullback play. This one made just about 1. For simplicity, we'll call it a 1 because I don't want the numbers to get too complicated. And so that means now we're at a loss of minus 1. Okay, just holding until the end of the day. SSRI. I actually didn't take a trade on this one. It was on my watch list, but I passed on it. It, it was a pretty good entry in the open, but it felt like it was more a sector move because all the silver stocks were up today, so I passed on that one. Rent I bought right where my cursor is at 942. By the end of the day, it was up 1, 2, 3.5 times risk. Could have got out at a little better exit, but I used my hold until close. As I find that overall, that's the best exit. So that one earned 3.5 times risk. So that means we had a loss so far of minus 1. Now we've had a profit of 3.5. So total profit so far for the trades I've shown you was 2.5. Okay, so that means if we risked $500, we're up $1,250 so far on these trades. Now we'll go to NTLS, which was my best trade of the day. I'm going to draw these lines properly here. So my entry point was at the blue line, right where my cursor is at 10:38 this morning. That's Eastern time. I'm in the Pacific time zone, but and it earned, holding until the close, 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll round it down to 4. It was actually a little better than 4, but we'll round it down to 4. So we were up 2.5. Now we're up 4 more, so that's up 6.5. So if you risked $500, you're now sitting at $3,250 of profit on those trades. All right, next one, ZBRA. This one made 1-to-1. Okay, my entry point was right here at 944. And it closed the day at a 1-to-1, a little better than 1-to-1. So now we're up, what did I say, 6? So now we're up 6.5, now we're up 7.5, right? And one more, FireEye. Again, I'm just trying to demonstrate it's a numbers game. We don't make money on every trade. We had 2 losers, and this one was also a winner. I actually did not do this trade personally, but many of the people in my little live webcast that I did this morning took this one. I opted not to, but if I had, I would have made 1.5. And so if we take our total profit for the day, it's 9. We had a 7.5 so far, another 1.5 here. That's a total profit potential. If I was a computer trading my strategies perfectly, it earned a 9-to-1 reward for risk. If you were risking $100, you made $900. If you're risking $1,000, you made $9,000. Would you have executed perfectly? No, I never do. Some days I do better than perfect. Some days I actually beat the computer. You know, if I think about my strategies being executed by a computer, it's just a set of rules, right? So really, you could program a computer to do this. So if some days I'll beat my computerized friend, you know, if I have a sort of imaginary computer that's trading these things. Yesterday, for example, I beat the computer. I earned a reward for risk yesterday of just under 4, but my strategies should have only earned me, I think, about 2 or 1. I can't remember. So some days I beat the computer. Today, the computer did well. It earned a 9-to-1 reward for risk, and I earned a little less than that. So that is how we approach the market as strategy traders. It's a numbers game. There are some days when I lose money. Most days I make money. And then there are some days when I do really well because it's a hot day. Today was a decent day, not a great one. Yesterday was kind of a bad day, but I had some good winners that helped things out. All right, so that is the approach to day trading based on what the action was today. What I'm going to do now for the last, we just have a few minutes here is I'm going to take some questions. I'm going to leave my contact information up there. I just got to pull up my question boxes here. And I won't answer every question because there's quite a few, but I'll try to get them in. I don't want to go too long past the time. I can see how you determine your purchase price on TradeStation, but how you define your one-time risk line on the charts. So Brian, you've registered for the class. That's something I'm going to teach you in the class, and you'll be able to get into that when you get into the material. I don't want to teach all my secrets in the free webinars. That's something, you know, one of the things, I don't want a whole bunch of people to know what I do. That's why I only teach 100 people a year. So, you know, if you want to know all my rules, you have to register for my class. And the reason I charge what I charge for them is so I don't have 1,000 students. I want to teach 100 people a year, and that's sort of how it goes. So that'll be something that you learn in the strategies, but also in the foundation material. Are you working on a live scan data and your blue and pink dots available for Stockscores? No, the blue and pink dots do not appear in Stockscores. They only appear in TradeStation. You don't have to have TradeStation. I can teach you what to look for without seeing the blue and pink dots, but the blue and pink dots just allow me to get the computer to do the work. So it's just a time saver. I don't miss trades so much because of that. So it's a real benefit in that regard. Do you absolutely have to have TradeStation? No, you do not. You can trade my strategies using the Desjardins platform, fine. You may miss a few of the trades because the computer in TradeStation can sort of do part of the work for you, and that's the benefit of it. But TradeStation costs $300 a month, so it's not for everybody. If you're going to make a career out of trading, it's well worth the investment. If you're going to trade kind of casually, I would just use the Desjardins platform and Stockscores. Yeah, you won't catch every trade, but you can still do quite well with it. All right, so I think I'm going to wrap it up for this evening. It looks like I've got most of the questions answered. You guys are actually pretty quiet tonight. If you want to register for the class, as I said, if you answered yes to the poll, I'll send you an email. But another way to do register for the class is just go to stockscores.com/learn. Make sure you log into the website, because if you've taken one of my courses before, your upgrade fees are going to be less. So log into the website and then go to stockscores.com/learn, and you can register right on this page. Now it shows that I'm already purchased here because, well, I own all these, access to all these tools. But if you go down here, there's these buttons under sign up now, and you click on foundation, and it'll let you buy it right there. You want to buy the investor course, it'll let you buy it right there. And it's instantaneous. Your access is opened up right away. As I said, mine shows purchase. If you've never taken a class from me, it's going to show you the regular pricing. If you did the investor and you want to upgrade to the active trader, it's going to show you the upgrade fee. Now, if you want to do the class registration with the Desjardins discount, the best thing to do is email me. Let me know that you've contacted Daniel, and I will get you set up on registering at the discount price for Desjardins clients. I want to thank everyone for joining in for not only this webinar, but we've done a lot of webinars in the last month. Certainly we've had great turnouts at those. I'm actually amazed at how many people from so many different countries have taken in these webinars. It's kind of cool what technology allows us to do in terms of reaching people all over the world. And if you have any questions for me, I certainly welcome those questions. You can email me there, tylerb@stockscores.com. And otherwise, I will look forward to hearing you. We will have some more webinars coming up. It's going to be a little bit of a break in the short term until I do a few more, but I will have some more coming up. Anyone that registers for my class, I'll see you on May 23rd for the Saturday webinar. If you register, you'll get some emails from me as well with all the details for registering. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great night, and I look forward to speaking with you soon.